sociology as a discipline, how it emerged in Europe, and then in US, then in India. Then we talked about sociology and other social sciences. 4 points we need to remember. What is the nature of the subject, the method, similarities, differences, and conclusion. And one question comes. Normally, either or, emergence of sociology or relationship with other social sciences or social imagination or another way, that never comes. Sociology should be special or sociology should be general, that never comes. For the last 7-8 years I haven't seen coming. Social imagination comes. We gave a brief overview, but we'll give little bit of background theoretical as to who said it. Social imagination. Charles Wright Mills said it. We'll talk a bit of that. Second chapter, if sociology is a science. Third chapter is research methodology. We said it is. It takes little time for you. After the classes are over, you need to take another 20 hours, let us say, to have a note of your own. And the fourth chapter is a longer chapter. There are 6 thinkers. Each thinker may take another 2-3 days. 15-20 hours on your part to prepare. So this thinker part is the one which you have to study, but I'll give you a structure when we will be studying it, some of the features, then the meaning. Suppose we are talking on alienation, we'll talk alienation, its meaning, its features, its significance, the type, and finally limitations and conclusion. That's the standard format I normally follow, so that students know that I'll have to write the meaning first, then I'll have to give the features of alienation, then I'll give the type of alienation, then I'll give the significance and limitations, and that's within 1 or 2 examples everywhere you can give. The same thing you can do for ethics also. Meaning, features, types, and in ethics you can give hypothetical examples also, cases. Not necessarily you will have to look into the books. Give example that comes to your mind. 5th chapter was stratification, theories of stratification. That is the portion that you have to study. Then caste, class, gender, that is how the society is layered. That is the stratification system in a patriarchy, men at the top, then women. Nowadays new class of gender is coming, homosexuals. Caste has 4. Class we have talked, upper, middle, lower, in the rural area, agrarian, something like that. 6th chapter is work and economic life, which we discussed in social issues. Slave society, feudal society, industrial society. Then we'll be talking on different types of informal, formal, formal to informal, informal to formal. Then we'll be talking on gig economy, and did I talk to you beyond jobless growth kind of a phenomena in social issues? More PF is increasing, gratuity, everybody is getting, have a provision for pension, gender gap is reducing. These are the things we talked. We talked of labor code also. 6th chapter we'll talk. 7th chapter I think is politics. It's a little longer chapter. It also has a theory portion, elite theory, pluralist theory, postmodernist theory. These are the 2-3 thinkers for each type of theory that you will study. Again, in the theory also we will see the meaning, features, significance, limitations, contemporary relevance, etc. And the 8th chapter is religion. Theories of religion. Then we'll talk about what is animism, what is polytheism, what is monism, and what is the sociological relevance of polytheism and sociological relevance of monism. Now you are proceeding towards monism. Some of the sociology books will write monism, Advaitavad. We are not to study here the philosophical angle of religion. In sociology, we will be trying to understand monism and its social significance, polytheism and its social significance. Polytheism, many gods. Social significance is that many types of isms. Monism, the single dominance of a god, and it is a kind of a majoritarianism. The kings, the states. Oh, very recently I saw on social media or something, a private member bill introduced in the parliament to delete the provision in the preamble, the word secular. This was a target. Agli baar 400 par ka nara was for that, but they cannot. They cannot. Because to change preamble again, you need to have a 3/4 majority. 400 par to chahiye, otherwise you cannot. Or else declared emergency should be there. And then the next chapter was kinship. It's a very small chapter. Consanguinal relationship, blood relationship, marriage relationship, and imaginary relationship. We are brothers and sisters. I call him Tamru, like this. And sometimes these connotations, they work very effectively. They work well. They get converted into real kind of a thing. Fictitious relationship get converted into real kind of a thing. In Rajasthan, this child marriage, if somebody knows, when a child is born, almost at that point of time it is decided that he will get married to this girl or she will get married to this boy even at the age of 1 year. And the parents behave like usko kya bolte hain, girl's father and the boy's father. Our relationship, this kind of a relationship starts. Maybe later on they don't marry, that's a different issue altogether. Sometimes they marry also. 10th chapter is social change. In social change also we will look into some of the social change theories. What are the various thinkers talked about what social change is. Then we will talk of development and dependency. Nicely, it's a wonderful theory until and unless you know it. It says third world countries have a dependency syndrome. What is that? It says actually this is 3 thinkers mainly talk about it. Wonderful in a sense. He was a Brazilian sociologist. He was like Manmohan Singh. Manmohan Singh was an academic person, then he came to Reserve Bank, then came into the ministry, then became the Prime Minister. And this Cardoso was a sociologist, was into academics. Later on, he was the person who said, Brazil is the biggest exporter of coffee in the world, but still it is dependent. It never can become independent until and unless these developed countries, they have, Brazil has an unequal trade exchange. What is that unequal trade exchange? He says we are sending what you call coffee beans and we are exporting Nescafe, finished product. India used to send cotton and used to export clothes, finished products. And most of the so-called third world countries or least developed countries will remain least developed. They will never be able to develop because these developed countries will keep them dependent with unequal trade exchange. That is the relationship between development and dependency. Beautiful theory. Cardoso and Wallerstein. Wallerstein was an economist, I think. I don't remember. He said the whole world is divided into three. One is the core, one is the periphery, and one is the semi-periphery. The core countries are these developed countries of the world, and peripheral countries are the third world countries, these Chota Mota, Bangladesh, Nepal, Bhutan, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, African countries. And they themselves will be highly dependent on these developed countries in terms of technology, in terms of finance, in terms of finished products, because they will never share, they will never give the property rights on their product, including medicine. I am the worst sufferer. Novartis doesn't give its property right regarding that biological injection, which in India is very, very costly. For genetic disorders, to afford this injection is very difficult. I asked once to my doctor, I said, sir, this injection is so costly. Bola, India is not buying the property right. If India buys the property right, they will give the technology. Now, he says, imagine the scientist who has developed this, will he leave his property right patent on it? He has perhaps had spent his whole life on this. So, he is not giving. And these are the things that the developed countries are exploiting the developing countries. And he said there are few semi-peripheral countries who are neither fully developed nor fully dependent like India. And he says the semi-developed countries, I mean semi-peripheral countries may slip to periphery, may go up also. So, these are development and dependency theories are very interesting, very interesting. If you want to develop, I mean, keep in mind as a theory, then Ratamar, then it's a very difficult thing. Otherwise, basic theory is this, unequal. In Arunachal Pradesh, so much of kiwi, so much of orange, beautiful quality orange, but you go and see the orange juice, kiwi wine, all imported. You have so much of orange and all are organic. There were few students who are agriculture engineers. I said, you have all organic. Well, what else will have? I mean, organic to have without any manure, fertilizer or something like that. Well, you come to my native place, village, Alo, I'll show you how much orange we have without cultivating it. It's jungle. What will do? There's no road. Nobody comes to buy. Where I will take to sell? It's just lying there. Every year it is coming, something is being sold. Otherwise, it's like this. And we, the tribals, are least bothered about all these things. Happy-go-lucky type of people. Every day we need drinks. Lots of apong. Apong means a local drink. Like tadi we call it here, they have apong. Everybody, I mean, they take dinner at maybe 6 o'clock. I also used to take dinner at 6 o'clock. Everybody takes, I also. There is no concept of breakfast there. As such, no breakfast concept is there. And after that, they will take dinner, and at 10 o'clock, drinking starts. Anyway, they are fine. They are fine in their world with the animism, original form, original thing, and they are little advanced. Advanced in the sense, some of the things are very advanced, be it in terms of their dress, be it in terms of their physique. Only thing is that they are short height, but otherwise very hill, na? You have to be, it will be all right always. Skin quality is very good. Everything is fine, but some of the things are pretty back. Same is with the Nagamis. Huge resources unexploited. Resources needs to be used, isn't it? Otherwise, resource kya hoga? Road nahi hai. Sir, there is no road. From here to going to Galo, Alo is a Galo tribe. Galo and Adi are the very progressive tribes. They marry outside their community to get out of this polygamy. Bola, you will find our girls are very advanced, very, what do you call, mixing in nature. They are very friendly in nature, and at the slightest opportunity they would like to leave Arunachal. Polygamy is very dangerous kind of a thing. Or else you become a Christian, maybe you get out of this animism, polygamy, practices, rituals which are exploiting in nature. So that will be interesting part, social change, development and dependency, and this thing. You know, once you have a grasp of it, it comes in your mind. Every time you find, the moment I talk of development dependency, I can see how much cotton we do. This whole of Eastern Europe, they are exporting cotton. See their condition. Just by exporting raw material, no country has ever become developed country. By exporting raw material and importing the finished products, you manufacture steel and you buy cars and other things and everything from outside. What will happen? See Bangladesh. Those of my friends who had stayed in Bangladesh, they see not a single car of their own. They don't have any mines. factory, only India is putting up a power plant, NTPC in a joint venture. What will happen? Anyway, कहाँ से कहाँ चला जाता हूँ यार? Second paper has 3 broad chapters. One is introducing Indian society. This is also not a very big chapter. It has 2 sub-chapters: perspective of Indian society, perspectives of Indian society. Perspective means views. Once these words are given, it looks very technical, so I say it. Views of Indian society. 3 persons' views matter. One is I said he was the founder, starting Govind Sadasiv Ghure, Bombay University started. The second one is Srinivas, M.N. Srinivas. Actually, M.N. Srinivas happened to be student of Ghure. Not student, junior colleague. And Ghure, being a Panditji, he studied a lot, what you call those Gitas, Gita, Vedas, all these things, and studied Indian society through scriptures, through really scriptures. It's called Indology, Indian logy. Actually, he didn't start it. It was started by some British authors, Max Muller, Baden-Powell. These are the people who had started this. He inherited the legacy, and he is an Indologist. Even Raja Ram Mohan Roy is also an Indologist. He studied Indian scriptures a lot, and later on tried to, nowadays Mohan Bhagavat and other RSS people, they say, he was a person, he was actually aiming to convert Indians to Christianity. My God, how rubbish things can be put. Actually, he had left, he didn't leave. He was thrown out of Hinduism. He was thrown out of Hindu school, he was thrown out of Hindu college, from all the boards he was thrown out. And ultimately he said, okay, no issue. I will form a different society called Brahmo Samaj. Raja Ram Mohan Roy created something called Brahmo Samaj. And his idea was, he was against idolatry. Idolatry, you understand? I mean, worshipping a murti, idols. And Rabindranath Tagore's father, Prince Dwarkanath Tagore, was highly impressed. And Rabindranath Tagore was a Brahmo. Do you know this? Rabindranath Tagore was a Brahmo. And his Nobel Prize winning poem Gitanjali, he says at a place, "What are you doing inside this temple, closing the doors, sitting in front of an idol? Do you think God is there? God is not there. God is there in that field where the farmer is tilling the land. God is there in that quarry where the worker is cutting the stone. God is not there in that stone inside that room. God lies in all the human beings. नयन मेले देख देखी तुझे देवता नाई घरे, घर के अंदर देवता नहीं है, देवता तो उस किसान के अंदर है, उस मजदूर के अंदर है." It was the Nobel Prize winning poem for him. And the second gentleman, Mr. Srinivas, he is considered as a functionalist. Functionalist view of Indian society. If I say in a little, in the first instance, if I say, you will be rejecting. He talks about the functions of society. Whatever the structural arrangement we have, caste, varnashram, upper caste, lower caste, middle caste, class, religion, gender, all these structures have a function to play in Indian society. And his views about Indian society is called functionalist view, or in sociology we call it structural functionalism. All the structures have a function. Religion has a structure, good or bad. He saw them performing some positive functions. Even caste, he said the same thing, has functions to play. Caste, class, religion, gender, everything they find, the arrangements have a function to play. And the third gentleman is A.R. Desai. Actually, he was a hardcore Marxist. He was a professor. Maharaja Shivaji Rao University, Vadodara. He was in Bombay, M.N. Srinivas, but later on he came to Delhi School of Economics. And A.R. Desai was a Marxist sociologist. Rather, I'll write like this. He gave a, we don't call it the opposite of functionalism, we don't call it dysfunctionalism. In sociology, it is called conflict view. Even for Indian national movement, what he said, so interesting Marxist perspective of Indian nationalism, because he only sees the negative side of it. Even diagnosis of it is said, better said is, a disease well diagnosed is half cured. He said, you know, Indian national movement, Indian independence did not come through revolution, isn't it? Did India's independence come through revolution? We have been listening to this, that India's independence, there was a revolution. A.R. Desai, a Marxist-oriented, Karl Marx-oriented thinker, he said, India's independence did not come through revolution. Rather, India's independence had come through negotiation. India negotiated with the British that we will support you in World War II, and if you win, you will declare this colony as free. And we supplied lots of Jawans so that British win. And if you ever go to the war memorial in Kohima, I mean, you can't check your tears. So much Jawans. It will be, there are 3 steps. First you go, the first one, then the second one, then the third one, 3 steps, the hill, it is then. Huge names who are mostly Christians. Then are the names who are mostly, I mean mostly kya, fully Muslims. And then is the name fully Hindus. Everybody's name, everybody's age was written, and a small dialogue. Now he is away from his mother's lap, but he is safe in Mother Mary's lap. I mean, such things are written, and for every, they are, this is a Commonwealth site now, because Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose was coming with his INA, Indian National Army, had come up to Burma. After that, something happened, whatever has happened, and his thing did not come. And A.R. Desai says, India's independence did not come through revolution, like it had happened in French Revolution. We did not topple the government, we negotiated. And through the negotiation, who negotiated? It is only the elite class like Jawaharlal Nehru, Gandhiji, Sardar Patel, Motilal Nehru, all these elite class, and the lower class had no role actually, except participating and here and there throwing few bombs. India's independence came through negotiation, not revolution. First time when I heard about it, and wow, I never had thought of it. That is the conflict view, or whatever you call it, Marxist view. Of sociology. First we will get Indological view, then we will get, it is called structural functionalism. Then we will get Marxist view. And these 3 authors are the gem of thinking. And often GS Gure is being criticized, but it's not a, okay, criticism should always be there. Otherwise, how somebody will get an importance? GS Gure had said, these tribes are nothing but backward Hindus. And these tribes, they don't like it. What the hell? Why do you call us Hindus? They follow certain rituals of Hindus, they follow certain rituals of Christians, they follow certain rituals of animism, also something, something. That doesn't mean you will call them backward Hindus. They have quite a few. I asked a girl, and what's your name? Tejeshwari. Tejeshwari? Which tribe are you? No, I am a Mishmi tribe. I mean, you are a Mishmi tribe, but your name is Tejeshwari? Well, my father was very impressed with Hinduism, so he kept my name like this, Tejeshwari. Manula, such a big name. Even Hindus will not like to keep. Anyway, these are the three perspectives and this one. And the second one in this, kahan chala gaya re? And the second one in this is impact of colonial rule on Indian society. Impact of colonial rule on Indian society. Here we'll look into, now there will be heavy repetitions. I mean, chapter 6, we had looked into politics, political theory. There we looked into nation, citizenship, pressure group, etc., etc. It will be repeated here. It will be like social background of Indian nationalism. Just I was telling that we talked in social issues that what we said that colonial historians, they said there was nothing called nationalism as such. We gave a geographical boundary, so came the feeling of nationalism, etc., etc. And there we will also add certain points like what A.R. Desai said. These are some of the elite class who are backing Indian nationalism. Otherwise, common masses were never involved in Indian nationalism, at least in a negotiating position. So, what is the class background of Indian nationalism? What is the caste? Even the caste were upper caste. Hardly. Only when Gandhiji came in, there was a little bit others also joining it. Gandhiji could bring Muslims also into it with Khilafat agitation, and there was, in Kerala there was a Mopla rebellion, and Variyar Kunnan was involved in it. All these things we will study. Social background, number one will social background of Indian nationalism. Second, we will be studying modernization of Indian tradition. One can talk hours together because Professor Yogendra Singh, he was in JNU. He passed away only recently. Only recently, last year I think, he passed away. He was an Himachali. Himachali Punjabi. Himachal once upon a time was a part of Punjab. It got bifurcated and one side became Himachal Pradesh, one is Punjab. He was a Punjabi speaking professor in Jawaharlal Nehru University Sociology department. He said, modernization of Indian tradition. He nicely said, many modernizations occurred in Indian tradition. Well, even when Mughals came, some of the Indian traditions were changed. Whenever reform movement came, bhakti movement, this movement, that movement, Indian traditions were changed. But those were changed from within. They never could, bhakti movement or Mughals, that never could bring structural change in Indian tradition. That never could bring a structural change in terms of elevated women's status. That never happened. Patriarchy remained. Patriarchy did not change. That did not change the elevation of the Dalits. Structure remained. Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Sudra, and Sudra at the bottom, that remained. That structure did not change. Higher, middle, lower, no. But Mughals brought certain chota-mota traditional change in terms of food. We have started eating biryani. In terms of clothing, we have started wearing sherwani. Sufis came. In the music, in the other things, some changes occur. But they were not structural changes. Actually, structural changes came when the British came. The British brought structural change in Indian tradition. They introduced English education. They introduced judiciary. They brought Government of India Act. They brought army. They brought so many changes which changed the total hierarchical arrangement, including loosening of patriarchal ties, village head will be giving a law. Those things are changed. These are the structural changes which were brought by British. These are the two types. He said one is orthogenetic, one is heterogenetic. These are the two changes which change the Indian tradition. That is the total thing. Now you have to write in English. How little traditions change, how he gave these concepts. How little traditions change, how greater traditions change, how British introduced judiciary, law, etc., and things changed. We will read into it. And one question comes, modernization of Indian tradition. Sometimes social background of Indian nationalism. Then protest movements during colonial period. This is pure history. I will give you three types of protest movements. One is something like farmers kind of movement, tribal kind of movement, women type of movement, and I'll give you chronologically. and all the three types will have, let us say, 6 to 7. Do you know there was a sannyasi movement? Sannyasi, you understand? Sadhu, sadhu. Sannyasi movement. There was a sannyasi movement in Bengal. And these sannyasis organized and supported the farmers against the taxation system. And Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay wrote a novel on it. The novel's name is Ananda Math. Actually, Bankim Chandra Chatterjee was writing in nickname. He never wrote Bankim Chandra Chatterjee while he was writing, because he was Indian civil servant. And he wrote about this sannyasi movement, where the sannyasis were singing a song called Vande Mataram Sujalang Shafalang Shasya Shyamulang Mataram. And there he had introduced this. And today I think Modi is introducing a bill to say that Vande Mataram originally was not this, they are changed this, that. These are all controversial things. There was a word Durga. You know, Vande Mataram, I think, is a poem of 4 pages. And Janagana Mana was a poem also of 4 pages. 4 pages, only that portion is taken. One should not say, why not that portion? Anyway, now they find something to polarize, they are polarizing. And will also protest movements. Periods and social reforms. This is, you all have read in history, you all have read Birsa Munda rebellion. You must have heard. Birsa Munda rebellion, tribal rebellion, we'll look into it. We'll look into many other, Pabna revolt, Bardoloi movement, this, that, so many movements, all in the history, and it will be given to you chronologically, the main facts, just 3 lines each. Once it goes in, it will never come out. And this we have nationalism discussed. Only thing that will be new to you was modernization of Indian tradition. I gave is, one was change from within, chota mota change, and one was structural change brought by the British in terms of army, in terms of English education, in terms of judiciary, in terms of changing the tradition drastically. So this is the chapter, should take 1 or 2 days. क्या क्या movement है इसमें? In the past it was Champaran movement. You must have heard Champaran. Satyagraha, first Satyagraha movement of Gandhiji in Bihar, Champaran movement. Write a note on Champaran movement. Yogendra Singh's thesis on modernization of Indian tradition. Social background of Indian nationalism, this is 22, 23, 24, this. We will also talk on anti-Brahminic movement during the colonial period. All these things, we'll look into it. After this one is over, we'll come to the second chapter of paper 2 is social structure. चल इसको मिटा ही देता हूं. Only thing you have to read Ghure, Indology, Srinivas, functionalism, and A.R. Desai, conflict view, Marxist view. We don't call dysfunction. Paper 2, chapter 2. Again, it will be a lot of repetition with social issues and social justice. You have agrarian social structure. Agrarian means agricultural social structure. We'll look into it. Here you have rich landlords, landless laborers, tenant tillers, sharecroppers, rich landlords. Then you have normal landlords. Then you have sharecroppers. Then you have very small landholders, less than 2 acres, chota land. And finally, you have landless laborers. This is the agrarian rural structure, and what are the implications? There we'll look into what is the land tenure system during Mughal period, then the British period, then in independent India, then presently, what kind of a land reform is going on? Is there any land reform today? Like earlier there was something called permanent settlement during Lord Clive's time. Jamindari system was introduced. Then there was something called Mahalwadi system, which was put in Punjab. Then there was something called Raituwadi system in the southern part of India. Raitu means farmers. So these are the things we'll study here. Agrarian structure, how village structure, agricultural structure emerges with the land reforms. Today, what kind of a land reform we have? Today also we have a land reform. We are digitizing the land, you know. We are digitizing the land, and we are consolidating, trying to bring land into consolidation. Smaller parcels of land should be consolidated. They wanted to introduce contract farming. It's a good step they took, but the rich tractor capitalists did not allow it to happen. Otherwise, there is no point in having such a small parcel of land. Nothing comes out of it. Now it is, I say, either there is no reform or it is market-based reform. Simply on the basis on demand and supply, smaller landholders are selling off their land and working somewhere. So then we have caste system, class, tribe. We have already talked about caste, class, tribe. We'll just repeat once. Then we have kinship, which was in paper 1 also. See how paper 2 will be complete a repetition of many, I mean more than 50% will be, and then will be religion. Here we will be talking one thing new is the problems of minorities. Maybe we talked about communalism and the psychology associated with it. We will be doing it. Paper 2, almost 50% is repetition of paper 1. So if you have done paper 1, which will take around, say, for your self preparation, coaching or no coaching, whatever it is, थोड़ा सा आराम से पढ़ो. Only in the coaching, what happens is the things are little ready to cook and it's on your plate. When it is told in a little story form, it's on your plate and you have to digest it. Or else sociology में कुछ है नहीं, honestly speaking. अगर होता तो I would have been a big shot. कुछ काम ही नहीं मिलता sociology पढ़ के. Then I had to go for another town planning degree. Then I got a job. Really, I never advise anybody to go for sociology. This is whole about paper 2. Okay? It's a total repetition. Now we'll come to, somebody has written a quote of, you wrote, Winston Churchill, isn't it? India through negotiation had sent 60,000 soldiers for young blood within the age group of at the most 35. And 60,000 soldiers died. Indian army which participated for British to win the Second World War. Winston Churchill was asked in the parliament, what is this? So much of people. He said, anyway, Indians breed like rabbits. That was the reply given by Winston Churchill. Anyway, Indians breed like rabbits. Maybe at that point of time, average number of children per couple was 7, whatever it is. But Dadabhai Nauroji said, he was a British citizen actually. He used to stay in England. Dadabhai Nauroji said, British were most un-British as far as their dealing with Indians were concerned. Were most, British considered to be the white skin kind of a thing, whatever it is. The British were most un-British. And Churchill's reply was very insulting. And history is a wonderful subject, I'll tell you. When Bengal famine was there, beggars were not asking for rice. Beggars were asking for the water portion of the rice. That was the scenario at that time in Delhi North campus, that Delhi University's North campus, there is a place called Kingsway Camp. In that Kingsway Camp, it was some 66 days darbar, British King's darbar. Some 8,000 people lavishly ate every day. And British India kept on exporting rice. never bothered that there is a famine, people are unable to eat. As far as economic exploitation is concerned, the British, the way they exploited India, not only India, to that matter, the Latin American countries, Spain exploited, to that matter, African countries, other European countries exploited economically. आज ब्रिटिश का क्या हाल है? Thames River once was so transparent, so clean 35, 40 years ago. Only very recently, one of my daughter's friend went, I said, how did you see Thames River? Bola, uncle, it is more yellowish in color than River Ganges. She is from Calcutta. It is more dirty than River Ganges. Is it? Poverty is the biggest polluter. Today, English doesn't have that economic superiority it used to have. I mean, British sun never set. Starting from Australia to Canada, it is all their empire. So everywhere, any of the colony, British will be there. Today, here it is dark, but here it is morning. Here it is night, there it is morning. Here it is night, there it is morning. British sun never used to set. And that country today is with a begging ball kind of a thing. But they are culturally rich. I say, dead elephant is also, I mean, only British can have a Prime Minister of Indian origin, Rishi Sunak. And Rishi Sunak, after becoming Prime Minister, the first thing he did, he brought a cow, garlanded it and worshipped it, and British tolerated it. Can it be possible in India, a Muslim becoming Prime Minister and going for a Qurbani? Hat terike. It never ever can be possible. They are rich. Culturally they are rich still. We cannot be so. Anyway, chodo yaar. And the third chapter, this is the last chapter. It's a very good chapter. It's all repetition, mostly repetition. I have talked in nutshell in 20 hours in social issues. This one I didn't talk, vision of India. India, when got independence, its literacy was 20%. Its literacy was 20%. And economy, you can understand the position at which it was. What should have been the vision of India? Calling Adani, Ambani, Tata, Birla to do? Or creating Steel Authority of India, Bharat Heavy Electrical Limited, Coal India Limited, Gas Authority of India Limited, all public sector undertakings which are considered the temples of modern development. In the 1950s, the vision was, we'll go for heavy industries and it will come through public sector undertakings like SAIL, BHEL, GAIL, IOC, ONGC, Coal India, NTPC, etc., etc. That was the vision that was created. And IITs and IIMs were created to support this. PSUs need engineers. So IITs were created. Hospitals, AIMS was created, later on several AIMS came. That was the vision of India. In 1991, another visionary came. He said, we have done enough with the public sector undertaking. Now we must go for liberalization, privatization, and globalization. And these public sectors were liberalized. Their shares were floated in the market. And the country which was almost knee dip, I mean not nose dip up to with debt, it started with LPG, and today we are trillion, billion, whatever you call it, that economy. That is the vision of India. What else is the vision of India? We created cooperatives, Amul, Anand Milk Union Limited. Anand is a place near, I mean in between Ahmedabad and Baroda. There is a place called Anand. And the milk cooperatives all together, they were doing it. And there was a gentleman called George Kurian. Or Varghese. Huh? Varghese Kurian. Varghese Kurian. He was the person. I could not meet him. I went to his bungalow. I mean, we went, in fact. We wanted to study cooperatives, how it operates. We were taken to the Varghese Kurian. Varghese Kurian. We went for a 1-week training, practical field visit, as well as little bit of theoretical background of cooperative movements in India, how it all started, what it happened. We went to one institute called Institute of Rural Management, Anand, IRMA. Institute of Rural Management. Because it is in Anand, so it is called Anand. They showed us smaller cooperatives, also a cooperative like Amul. How Amul brought a white revolution. You know, milk was not during those days, only those who had a cow can get a milk. Otherwise, milk was not available. Or a few goala will, they have a little excess milk, they will sell it. Otherwise, there was no milk. Varghese Kurian pasteurized milk and brought something called Amul spray. Have you seen Amul spray dabba? No, you must not have seen. Amul sprayed that milk powder. If you still Google it, you will see that baby red color dabba with a, white color dabba with a red color baby. Amul spray fought malnutrition in the country. And Amul was unable to supply that much of Amul spray. The amount of demand, Ultimately, there was black marketing with this Amul spray. And in public distribution system, Amul spray was to be given because huge demand. Malnutrition, 3rd degree, children born, they don't have milk. Babies after babies, mother's breast doesn't have so much of milk. Amul spray was the only way out, and this was brought. And same was the case with eggs, you know. Eggs were not that. Today you find so much of this, tumhare yahan to sham ko, if I go, that smell, my God, they are roasting, na? Full of smoke. But earlier, this was not the scenario. A chicken was something very precious. Only those who have a few hens or cocks, whatever you call it, they will used to have. But this poultry revolution came. Who brought it? I do not know. Lots of this thing came. Anyway, then agrarian transformation. In this agrarian transformation, we will have programs of rural development. I gave you few, na? Programs on poverty alleviation, social justice programs, which we discussed. This 5 kg grain, this, that, all these programs I'll give you in a. Then here you have cooperatives also. What is a cooperative? What are the different types of cooperatives? How cooperatives work? Indian Coffee House is a cooperative. Kudumbashree is a cooperative. You know, it's a very good organization. Be it Kudumbashree, be it Indian Coffee House. And Seva, Self-Employed Women's Association in Gujarat. Lichat, Papad, these are all cooperatives. And they do a good job. And you know, a new ministry is formed in 2020, the Ministry of Cooperatives. Who is the minister, you know? Minister for Cooperatives is? Have a wild guess who could be the Minister for Cooperatives? Amit Shah. Everybody know him that he is a minister, home minister. He is also a cooperative minister, new ministry formed, and Amit Shah is the Minister for Cooperatives. And now you understand what is the importance of cooperatives. The lesser known model, Gujarat model, is nothing but control of cooperatives. The more you control the cooperatives, more you win. All the cooperatives in Gujarat, one by one, other than BJP, were just fired or maligned, and ultimately they left and they are under control. And that is why in Gujarat it is very so difficult to defeat Bhajpa. So cooperative is a very important thing. And Ahmedabad Cooperative Bank netted maximum money during demonetization. That means you understand what? All the black monies got exchanged through Ahmedabad Cooperative Bank. Arey, these are not sociology, yeah, these are all kind of a interpretation of the current affairs. After cooperatives, there is a green revolution. We talked about Varghese Kurian and white revolution. There was a green revolution. What is that green revolution? Huh?
High-yielding variety.
High-yielding variety. I'll tell you, this green, क्या बोले? You told?
MS Swaminathan.
क्या?
MS Swaminathan.
MS Swaminathan. This, I'll tell you, reading the book is different and experiencing is different. We used to have wheat. Kida matlab? I mean, it's a half eaten away. It's a rotten wheat. And we'll get it from PDS. PDS means public distribution system, ration shops. From there we'll go with a ration card, red color or yellow color, I don't remember now. I was a child. Maybe not that very child, grown up. We'll go with the card. They will give some 5 kg, 2 kg, 10 kg, I don't remember. We'll bring it. And my grandmother will wash it in a bucket of water. They'll clean so that the insects, this will go out. They'll bring it, and after that, under the sun, it will be put. And she will be sitting with a stick. Why? Otherwise, cocks, hens, they will come, they will eat. And she is a poor lady, I mean, with a white colored clothes, she will be sitting on it. And udhar, kya hai na, there was a film hall side by. People will going for watching the movie, I still remember. क्या movie चल रहा था? Something, there is a movie, दसरा बुल्लोड़ा ना, ऐसा कुछ, वो क्या है, एन.टी. रामा राव और ये सब वहाँ पे खूब चलता था. हाँ, there is a song I still remember during those days. क्या पच्चगाटी कुर्चेदी पड़चुपिल्ला, ऐसा. हाँ, you know this song? Very popular. And my grandmother was shouting. What happened? Dadi, why are you shouting? See these people? And what happened? I mean, old lady sitting in front of few weights, drying. They thought is a beggar begging from this house, and nobody, door is closed. They few 1 paisa, 2 paisa, 3 paisa, being so pious. That was the scenario. And that syndrome used to be, we used to feel proud saying that from the ship to the mouth. It used to come all the way from USA. This sada hua gehu, wheat, spoiled wheat of which their horses won't eat, they used to send through the ship to India. हम उसको धो धा के, सुखा के, grind करके, the flour बना के, we used to eat. But then came a rice variety called Taichun, and along with came one pesticide called DDT. You know, the DDT came and Taichung variety rice came. The Taichung variety rice can grow twice in a year. Earlier, rice used to grow once in a year. Its span is shortened, and DDT is sprayed so that insect control will be there, pesticides well used, and Taichung high yielding, what you said, high yielding variety HYV along with DDT created havoc like white revolution, green revolution. We started eating rice. But it had its positive sides as well as negative sides. We'll look into all these details, but the basic story is the syndrome which was from ship to the mouth got converted to grain surplus India, and you rightly said MS Swaminathan. His daughter's name? She was ICMR's Director General, then went to World Health Organization. Right now writes few articles. Soumya Swaminathan. So when M.S. Swaminathan used to stand in Rajya Sabha to speak, the tumultuous Rajya Sabha scenario, they used to cool down. The kind of respect that gentleman commanded. So that was all about Green Revolution. Then we have the problems of rural bondage, migration, etc. We saw what migratory, migrant laborers are during the, what is that, demonetization. My God, the way they walked. No, not demonetization, during Corona. Terrific. Then we have industrial and urbanization. Mota we have talked. How industrialization started with heavy industries, then in 1991, then we came with the service sector and IT, that is what, and urbanization, we also talked about little bit of urbanism and other things will be industrialization and urbanization. Then we'll talk about informal sector and child labor. Did we talk of child labor in social issues? Did we talk? Perhaps not, I do not know. Child labor is, earlier there used to be age, this many age, that many age. Today we have realized, ILO has realized that we cannot eradicate child labor like that. There are family farm labor. The whole family is working in the field. There the child is also working. Can you stop it? And if you stop it, you will be simply burdening the judiciary. A father is running a pawn shop where the child is also working, helping the father. If I stop it, it will not happen. हमारे वहाँ पे at a pawn shop, a small child sells पान वान ये सब गुटका मुटका. One day I said, Satyam, why don't you study? Day, morning till night you are here. Father is helping. He replies, पढ़ के नौकरी मिलेगा क्या? नहीं, नौकरी तो नहीं मिलेगा. Gone. Then that day I purchased something and went home. I said, today I didn't come with the mobile. Will it be okay if I go back home and from there I pay? Well, no issue. After going back home, I paid. Next day I went. I said, I had paid. Bola, you take whatever you want to take. I said, no, I paid it. Did you see it? Well, no, I still believe you have paid. No, it's not a question of belief. Have you seen it? Checked it? I can tell you a lie. No, you, uncle, you won't tell lie. I can understand. Satyam, actually I understood what is the problem, why he is trusting me so much. Actually, he cannot read. Should be able to read, isn't it? I could understand that. I said, Satyam, Today your shop is this, you have only 10 customers, you can see my face and say, oh, this is the person from here. He will be able to, because he is wearing a little stainless clothes, maybe he will return back, he is coming with a shoe, not naked leg. You are trusting. When if you have, let us say, little bigger shop and 250 customers, how many you will remember like this? Should you not be able to read my name and how much money I have sent? Then what happened, I do not know. One day he was returning with a bag at the back like this, and his father is saying, "Bete ko tuition laga diya." I gave a tuition, 500 rupees. But the boy will be going to the tuition or somewhere, but whole day he will be here. Ajay, the whole day the boy is standing under the sun. Do you think only going to the tuition something will happen? Nothing will happen. Your 500 rupees will be wasted, and the teacher will be learning something more. Nothing will happen to your son. Satyam was listening to it. Then Satyam went to their village school. Noida has lots of villages, I said. Chora, Khoda, Lora, Besa, बहुत सारे ये है, नया बांस. He was from Mamura. He went to a school. Father doesn't take. He went to a school and wanted to take admission. Satyam was, I think, some 12 years or 13 years old. Bola, you have to come to class 1. He said, no, class 1 बच्चों के साथ I cannot sit. One day his father saw me and started shouting, these are the you people put poison in our children's mind. You have done this, you have done that. Manula, Ajay, what has happened? What's wrong? No, my son has fled. Fled means? कहाँ गया? बोला वो गांव चला गया. He went back to his village. He talked to the village school teacher or whatever and got admission in class 3. And Ajay is firing on me that you have poisoned the mind of my son. Ajay never came back after that. What was I talking? Child labor. You cannot stop child labor. Girl is coming with the domestic help to help the mother. Otherwise, mother is unable to meet because he has 6, 7 children. You cannot stop. In that case, the child will die of hunger. So the International Labour Organization said when the child labor is, this type of people, so poor, they are unable to meet both the ends meet together, you cannot by law stop it. Only thing they said, let us maintain that a child should not work 21 hours, more than 21 hours per week. And if it is hazardous industry, no way it should be allowed. That's all. That's the ILO's definition. This is the mota gist I gave. Then while talking, we will talk of child labor, meaning, features, types, significance, limitations, PYQ, all this we'll do and we'll make a small note. Then the last one is slums. Slums and urban deprivation. Slums, here people know. Then we'll come to next chapter is politics and society. Completely will be discussed in paper 1. Nation, democracy, citizenship, pressure group, elite. There we'll study one thing is regionalism, which we haven't discussed, and it was not discussed in paper 1 also. We'll look into regionalism in this chapter. And the second one is social movement, again is discussed in paper 1. Then we'll come to population dynamics. Mota I have talked to you about population. fertility, mortality, migration, marriage, population policy, how it was in 1947, how it was going on 1976, emergency was given, 77, family planning got turned to family welfare, then 1994, women's reproductive health component was added to it. In 2000, Hum Do Hamare Do Nara, to have 2 children per family was target. 2025 we have 2 children per family. Urban average number is 1.6, rural is 2.2 or 3. We'll do into it. And the last one is the challenges of social transformation. That comes to an end. Many are repetitions, so they will not be again repeated. And the next one is social transformation. Social transformation is comparatively a bigger chapter. You have there crisis of development. What is crisis of development? When you acquire a large forest for constructing a dam, when you acquire a large mine and displace the people, this is the crisis of development. We'll talk. We'll also talk on violence against women. We'll also talk on some of the caste we have talked, and caste conflict we'll talk. We'll talk on ethnic conflict. We have already talked about communalism, it is here. We'll talk on religious revivalism. That's all. So, whatever the things based on my observation, normally when first social issues are done, social issues and social justice are done, in 200 hours, normally whole sociology course is completed, out of which we have already done, let us say, 25 hours or so. We are left with, let's say, out of 200 hours, if I minus 25 hours, there will be 175 hours. And if we are getting 6 hours per day, so 180 hours will be another 30 days at the most, 10 days more, 40 days or 45 days. We'll have a complete discussion on it, and we'll be having, oh, this is mine. Bapri. 1 month time should be fair enough to complete it. And after that, once you listen, it will be at the subconscious level. After that, those who will be sitting for what you call this one, prelims, those who clear prelims in 2026, you people be in touch, and real preparation should start there. And as we calculated, almost like, at the most you can give for the 2 papers 40-45 days for your self preparation, and a month for listening in the classroom. That should be done with your 500 marks, and you should be able to get 50%. Your report should be at least, I mean, it should be 50-50. Let the discussion part and the notes part carry 25%, 25% marks, and your own effort and understanding and practice, that should be another 25%. Try hard for prelims as well. That's the main gateway. Let's see, you take your decision what you would like to take, but I always suggest if you have to put little less effort, it's always better to go for sociology. It's because sociology is more like a common sense. We have been discussing, be it animism, be it monotheism, be it polytheism, look, urbanization, industrial, but these are all blah blah blah. Can be done. ऐसा नहीं है. 50-50, 50 the coaching institute helps. I mean, 25% coaching institutes help. 25% you try and you could score 50 marks. One say, why don't you say that you must aspire for 80%? No, there is no point in giving lots of hopes. Let us, 50% is a qualifying mark. I told you, Pinky Tully scored 50% for all the but got stuck in GS paper 1. Rather, ethics is highly scoring. It's a pure common sense. No? It's a pure common sense. I think many people get up to, in 250, they get 180, 185, 175, 160. Wow, क्या number मिला यार. 185 is a good score. If someone takes you so up, in that case, one goes down also, you can manage. But I say have a balanced labor for all the subjects. Trying to do excel in one and one goes down makes no much sense, because ultimately your average score should be good enough. चलो देखते हैं क्या होता है. चल ओके बंद कर दिया. ओ मेरा नहीं कॉफी नहीं, सॉरी यार, कॉफी नहीं, मैं उधर पी लूंगा.
ओके बाय सर.